Welcome to the Exploring Careers podcast, where we interview people in different fields and help you discover your path. I'm Lamont, your host, and today I'm talking to Lucas, who is an environmental engineer with over 10 years of experience. We talk about differences between Brazil and Canada's work cultures and going to Africa for a mining project. Let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, to our pilot episode. Today I'm really excited to have Lucas Pompeo here, who is an environmental engineer who's working in the sustainability field. I've known Lucas for 2 years, and I'm really excited to have him on because I think the climate crisis is really important and getting more and more so. So I'd like to learn more about what Lucas does and how he got into the field. Welcome, Lucas.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Lamont.
Awesome. So first of all, Lucas, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
Thanks, Lamont. It's a pleasure to be here with you. As you said, I'm an environmental engineer. I've been working on the sustainability and climate change field for more than 10 years now. I work for a consulting firm here in Vancouver. And yeah, my work is mainly focused on organizations to navigate through environmental and social subjects and overcome challenges related to their operations and properly report that um, stakeholders. That's in a nutshell.
That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of topics there, but could you tell me kind of what your standard day to day right now looks like?
Yes. So right now I work under this group called that focus on sustainability and commerce at the organization. And personally, I've been involved a lot in to carbon accounting. So, and what that entails is we have to help organizations to quantify their greenhouse gas emissions by applying proper methodologies, either international standards or references from provinces, especially for those companies that are required to report their emissions under a regulatory framework. So I also work on this company. I have an opportunity to work on two different fronts. So one is being an advisor for those companies, so helping them to build those reports, and then we switch hats and move as auditors. So coming down to those companies and checking their reports, comparing if they are putting together those calculations properly according to the requirements that they are applying to that. Um, and other than that, I'm also very involved in works related to climate change. So as you mentioned earlier, this is a topic that got it's getting a lot of attention um, publicly, and organizations are trying to find their way through that by identifying pathways towards decarbonization process in order to achieve the Paris Agreement, mainly, but also assessing the risks that the companies and organizations as a whole are subject to when it comes to climate change.
So, yeah, you mentioned that there was a lot of when in consulting work, it's project by project, and you're talking to a lot of companies. Is there any projects that you found fulfilling, memorable, something challenging, something that sticks out in your mind that you want to share?
Yeah, there was a project that I did back when I started in the consulting world. I was still I was on my earlier uh, years in my career, and I got that first job in a big city. I'm originally from Brazil, so at that time I moved from the country to São Paulo and started working for that company. And this project was required me to travel all over my country, which is a big country, um, and I had a chance to learn about the different the different the different cultures we have within such a beautiful country. And also, I had a chance to go to travel abroad and do some work in Africa. And this project specifically was related to um, implementation of environmental management systems for a mining company. So I got a chance to go to mining operations, railway operations, seaports, and all those different models that involve the whole um, value chain, supply chain of the mining industry. So that was quite interesting for me. So first, the challenge, the technical challenge of that, because I was basically doing the work that I spent almost 5 years at the school to do. So that was very, very rewarding. And also the opportunity to meet all those different cultures. And I don't think I'd have the opportunity to travel my country that way without this project. So that is definitely one of the most memorable experience I had so far.
That sounds awesome. It's always nice to travel for a job, for I guess different like seeing new things right around the world.
Exactly, you experience so great things and you don't have to pay for it.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So in your job, is there anything that you're passionate about in your position trying to help the environment? Is it seems like a very fulfilling career. Is there anything you want to talk about, how you like about the job or dislike about the job?
Yeah, I think in terms of what I like um, about my job is this sense of purpose. So um, doing this, being kind of a professional involved in sustainability and climate change subject is extremely rewarding. Is a subject that is out there. People are talking about this a lot, especially these days. And it's good. It's definitely, I think, on that sense, and see organizations moving towards that directions to be a better to do to have a more environmental friendly type of operation, incorporate those types of process within the industry. It's really rewarding. I think that's the part that I like the most of my work. And what I like the least, I would say it's just I think as any any work, you have our ups and downs. So sometimes we are extremely busy and we struggle some here and there to balance the proper to have the proper life balance. But I
Mm.
think it's not exclusive of this type of work I do. I think it's for everyone, right? I can't think about anything else that I'd like the least in my profession.
Awesome. With looking after the environment, I feel like there that could give a lot of purpose.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you, Lucas. So for people who want to get into that career, could we talk about how you got into this? Why did you choose this career when you were starting out, and how did you move from student to where you are now?
yeah. We mentioned earlier that I'm an environmental engineer, so my background at school, I was this was what I was working studying for, and during my time at the college, I was very fortunate to get a very interesting an opportunity to do a very interesting internship, which lasted for about 2 years. My last 2 years at school, I was working at this factory as an environmental management intern, and that kind of opened up my I think most of the opportunities I got after that was because that opportunity that opened a lot of door for me in my early stage of my career. Um, After I wrap up the school, I start as us do. We apply for all the jobs we see. So we just wanna the first opportunity to show up our values and abilities and all that. And yeah, I think I got that opportunity in a big city as São Paulo. I can't tell you that I choose that specifically. I that was the opportunity that got me at the time. I'm very happy because if I didn't get that opportunity, maybe I wouldn't be here right now doing this work these days. But I think there is a little a little of course you prepare yourself, you do your best at school, and then you wait for you seek for those opportunities, and then yeah, you try here and there, and sometimes you can some you can be presented to opportunities that you were not even considering in in your earlier times at the school. So I think you need to keep your mind open for that, because or honestly, this first job I got wouldn't be the one that I would feel like, oh, this is the work I want to do now that I'm done with school. I wouldn't say that, because there was other types of careers that would come first um, at the time. So since I was working at that factory, I would definitely seek for something similar to that um, for my next step in my career. But that wasn't really available at the time, so I embrace the opportunity that I was given, and yeah, I'm happy for that.
That's good. Yeah. I guess what I got from that was keep your opportunities, keep your doors open, and then something might come up, and then just take it. Right.
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome. So for your career, what are some personality traits or interests that people should have? Like, what kind of person would be really good for the job that you kind of do?
Well, I think one thing would be for I think you need to be very curious and to learn more and to be and and be mindful of what is going what is happening in the world. So the world to change fast, and in order to be a consultant in this field, is important that you are up to date, and there are loads of information coming every day. So it's important to be curious and be an informed person and enjoying it. So I think that that would be one thing. Another is it's really important the analytical thinking, I would say. We do calculations and analyze a lot of data with working with carbon accounting, but also when you think about climate change and the type of work that we provide within this organization um, for clients, it involves a lot of spreadsheets and yeah, gathering lots of information. So it's important that you have some analytical thinking and kind of enjoy working with Excel, I would say. It's not a mandatory requirement, but definitely will help you a lot in the way.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lucas. One interesting thing about your background is you grew up in Brazil, and then you did schooling there, and you did some work there, and then you came to Canada. Um, I wanted to check with you, how was the job in Brazil versus Canada? Was there a lot of differences between the two, governance, kind of things that you do, or are the projects about the same? If someone was to immigrate to Canada in this field, what can they expect?
So yeah, there is definitely some differences between the two markets. One thing that I noticed up front when I got here, actually, is not about the market, but the culture. That was one thing that was a little challenging for me, coming from a Latin country, a Latin culture, moving to Canada. Um, the first thing that I noticed were just the difference, the way people interact within the workspace. So it's a little different. I feel like back in my country, what I saw was that people talk more and about other stuff other than work. Whereas here, I see people way more professional on the workspace. So the conversation usually is more around professional matters other than anything else. So it was kind of a different mindset that I need to set, but take a while. But I learned that, and nowadays I appreciate it because on the other hand, I think the culture here makes us to be a little more productive. But another thing is when you think about technical matters, there is also a difference for sure. I think the market back in my country at the time when I moved here to 2017 wasn't having the same level of discussions that companies in Canada were having. So, for example, when I got here, organizations was already talking about setting targets to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases and lots of discussions around risk assessments related to climate change and all that. And that type of conversation I can't really remember having with any of the clients at the time I was back in my country. Um, I think organizations at the time there was more focusing in calculating their emissions, but not there wasn't really a high commitment with maybe with the quality of those reports. So and no discussions at all around climate change and strategies to for the organizations. That was something that was kind of very clear for me when I first moved here. And yeah, I think in general, the culture within those clients I was working there back there and here, it's way was way different. A lot of more advanced conversation towards sustainability than I experienced back in Brazil.
I'm glad Canadian companies are taking this seriously. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I had a Brazilian coworker before, and then he did say that the culture there is a lot less PC, I guess, than Canada. So I don't know how.
Oh,
I don't know what the difference is.
I'll share a fun fact here. One thing that we used to do at the workplace was something very common. We bring food to the office once in a while. In my last job there, usually on Fridays, people just bring cake or something. So we stopped for an hour or so to have coffee and chat. Um, and we just had very good time. So when I started working here, I just tried to bring that experience as
Oh,
well to build the connection to create this connection with my coworkers. But I don't think I was very successful at that. A couple of
aw.
times I brought cakes or homemade meals, anything like that, to share in meetings and all that. I was expecting that people would get that and kind of do the same, but that didn't really happen. So I kind of yeah, the beginning was just challenge. I was just maybe trying to replicate the same environment I had there, which doesn't really make any sense, right? I think we are moving. We need to learn the local culture, understand where we are, and then and play with it. So yeah, I'm not definitely way in a better spot now than I was before.
I think we have to learn Brazilian culture. That sounds way more fun. Before we wrap up, is there any tips that you have for listeners that are interested in getting into the field? Any words of wisdom from you?
Oh, words of wisdom. That's great. I would suggest to keep doing. There are lots of information coming on the internet. Now it's an amazing source of information. There are so many interesting courses, open courses available free for free that you can kind of keep learning. And yeah, I would suggest to explore those roads and learn by yourself and connect with professionals in the area if you are thinking about doing the move. It's really important to connect with people that are uh, working in this field so you can get a better understanding of what the work or the day-to-day work looks like, and think if that is for you or not.
Definitely, reaching out to people who are doing what you want to do is a good path to take. Okay, so we have a fun question here. What do you like to do for fun besides work?
Well, besides work, I wouldn't include that as a fun thing. But besides work, I like to do hiking, camping, and those are the things that I love the most here in the West Coast. So there are so many opportunities for hiking, beautiful parks pretty close to Vancouver that we can go in a day trip. So I love that. I love to invite people to come over to my place when we are allowed to have meals and just have some good times and listen to music. I'm very passionate about Latin music, particularly Mexican music. So I love it.
Ooh, do you have any recommendation?
Well, I do. I don't know if people will enjoy it though, but I like kind of this is a um, modern boleros, I'd say.
Boleros. Okay.
Yeah, so there are some great musicians there. I can name a couple of them. So maybe I'll say it wrong, but Natalia Lafourcade, um, Daniel Me Estás Matando, Los Rumberos, and a bunch of other great musicians. Yeah, I really have great times when I'm listening to them.
Awesome. I have to check them out. Great. Thank you, Lucas. And thank you for joining me today. It was great to chat with you and learn more about what you do. So, is there anywhere where other people can reach out to you if they have any questions?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. So we'll, I think we can leave here in the notes my link, so you can just click there and add myself. I'll be happy to connect with you and share some of my experience.
Definitely. I'll definitely have a link there in the show notes. Awesome. Thank you for your time, Lucas. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Lamont.
Thank you to Lucas for joining me this week and to you for tuning in. If you want to learn more from Lucas, I've shared his LinkedIn below. I'm here to help you discover where you want to go. If you have any questions or feedback, I would really appreciate it. And let me know of any other career paths that you're interested in. Until next time.